This week on the WriterCon podcast.
I would say first things first is going in, don't give up, and believe in yourself, and going ahead and having and avail yourself to opportunities that are around you.
Welcome to WriterCon, a gathering place for writers to share their knowledge about writing and the writing world. Do you have a desire to write? Every successful writer started with their first book. All it takes is determination and knowledge, and WriterCon can provide that knowledge. Your hosts are #1 national best-selling writer William Bernhardt, author of more than 60 books, including The Superman Wars, and Lara Bernhardt, award-winning author of the Wantland Files series and Shadow of the Taj.
Thank you, Jesse Ulrich. Hey there, writers. Thanks for joining us today. We just, in the last episode, celebrated our 200th episode. So that makes this the first podcast of the new centennial. And we have a new opening, courtesy of Jesse Ulrich. Thank you, Jesse. And it's the last episode of the year, the Christmas episode. So look, we're all decked out in Christmas or Hanukkah stuff with our ugly, except they're not actually ugly sweaters. I like your sweater. You're wearing Wonder Woman, aren't you, Lara?
Yes.
But of course, I stuck with the book.
Nice. On brand.
Is ugly Hanukkah sweater a thing? I don't know.
No, I just kept getting invited to ugly Christmas sweater parties, and I was like, I've got to find something. And by I mean Michelle, find me something that I can wear to these parties. And we discovered this. By the way, this is a lady's vest, but it works. And obviously just a gold shirt just works in general. So
that's all that matters.
There is actually a bow tie that I couldn't find. So that also adds to the ambiance of this outfit.
No doubt. So has everybody got their Hanukkah or Christmas preparations done? You ready for the event?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Are we ready? We're a week away.
Well, you know that I always have a lot of wrapping to do at the last minute. So, yeah, there's still wrapping.
Well, if it's just wrapping, that's fine. How about you, Jesse?
Again, it's pretty easy for me, someone without kids, to celebrate Hanukkah. So, I've gotten 2 gifts for my nephews. I'll get my dad something. I think I'm pretty good. I'm set.
Excellent.
We are blessed with large families. So,
yeah. Okay, guys, here's something I read on the internet today, so it must be true. Apparently, in Iceland, the tradition, they didn't mention this, or maybe they did when we were there, Lara, you tell me, but in Iceland, the Christmas Eve tradition is that you give your loved ones a book. And then everybody spends Christmas Eve evening together, reading together, and drinking hot chocolate. What do you think?
I love it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was actually like a Finnish tradition because Michelle and I have done this before.
That's close to Iceland.
That's true. That's true. I can never remember the name. It's a very North European, Icelandic type of word.
Yeah, I know. Let's ask AI. Then we'll have a definitive answer.
Probably a wrong answer, but
that's true.
Going for that.
No, we have remember the guy we brought back that creepily stares in your window? We brought back one
from Iceland. I remember that. And he's like a national treasure or something.
Yes, they have a whole bunch of these guys who come around and I guess terrorize people.
That's a Santa Claus variant, I guess. Okay.
All right. No, it is Icelandic. So
you think?
And it's got the greatest name of all, which is Jurbukkaflood.
Nice.
Which is Yule Book Flood. That's what it translates to. So there you go.
The things you learn on this podcast.
I know.
Our interview today is with Janet Yeager, who is a graduate of several WriterCons and cruises, and now, big surprise, she's publishing. Her second book just was released. It's called Two Birds, One Stone. We'll be talking to Janet very soon, but first, the news. Since this is the Christmas episode, I mean, come on, the news stories needed to be good news for writers, which is always welcome. On our last episode, the 200th episode, we dug deep into what has happened and what might happen in the future about Amazon and AI. And big surprise, we got 2 news stories for you this time. And one of them involves Amazon and one of them involves Lara. No, it really doesn't. It's AI, but you knew that already. So I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. News story number 1. Amazon offering AI translations, foreign language translations. This is big news, I would have to say. They're offering this to KDP authors, which might be self-published, but everybody has to have some way of getting their books up on Amazon. Small presses and indie presses use it a lot too. Anyway, they're offering a free AI translation of their work into foreign languages so they can then sell it in other countries, which many people have been wanting to try and sell their books in other countries. Spanish-speaking countries buy a lot of English language books. Germany buys a lot of books, especially crime novels. But the cost of translation was just too daunting. If Amazon can bring this off, that would be a thing. Right now, only 5% of the books in the Amazon store are available in more than one language, but imagine if everything was available everywhere. Anyway, they're going to go, and I should say I have not been invited to try out the beta. I usually am on their list, but not this time, probably because I don't know. Anyway, so I can't say how well it works, but to me, if it even provides something remotely resembling a valid translation, we've opened up a new income stream for authors. Just to be clear, after the translation is done, the author can review it, see if it works. Or if you don't speak the language, hire a translator. But I would think that the cost of having someone edit a draft that already exists is cheaper than having them do it from scratch, unless, of course, the translation is horrible. So I think this might be a good thing. Lara, what do you think? Does it sound appealing to you?
No, bah humbug. We're sticking with our hats. You're nice. I'm naughty. So no, it doesn't. And for the very reason that you just mentioned. I mean, we've already touched on this. I don't really trust AI. I've tried hot take. I've tried doing snippets of allowing AI to do audio work. And I have not had great success with that. There's so many mispronunciations and misinflections that I spend so much time sitting there trying to correct it that I just kind of abandoned the project. I feel like this would be the same. And if it's being translated into a language that I don't speak, which it would be,
right.
Now I can't even check it. I don't know if it's right or not, yeah. Which I think means I have to go find someone else who can still do this. So it just feels like, and it doesn't really feel like a solution. It sounds like an extra step. Maybe you're correct. Maybe it would make the edit easier for someone than just doing a complete translation. But I think I still have to find someone to look at it for me and verify that it's been correctly translated. Because we don't want to glut the market with a bunch of terrible translations that people will give terrible reviews to. And
no, and you know that it will, in the first year of operation, probably the program will double in accuracy, just, as they roll it out and use it and find ways to tweak it and make it better. Up front, they're only offering English to Spanish and German to English translations, but I'm sure that will expand over time. Jesse, how about you? Would you read, let's say it's a really good acclaimed science fiction novel that really interests you, but it's been AI translated into English from German, I guess. Would you read it?
I guess if it hasn't been touched by a human being, I still wouldn't trust it. So it does need to be reviewed. It does. I think it does speed up the process, and I think this will allow authors who want to get their books in other languages a cheaper way to do that. It's still going to require some work because language, as we know, is fluid, and I don't think AI is going to get, something that might be a, what was the term, like something that's like a shorthand in Chinese is not going to translate. It's going to translate strange into English, right? And a person would know how to make that sort of like analogy thing work better. But AI is just going to translate it straight.
Right.
So it's not going to get...
all jokes are lost.
Yeah, all jokes are lost.
Humor, forget it. Metaphor, just going to be confusing. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. All right, news story number 2. Grammarly, which is already AI, is now adding an AI assistant to help you fix your writing even more. I'm going to assume most people listening know what Grammarly is. It's a website-based program that allows you to drop in some of your wonderful prose and let their program tell you what needs to be fixed. They call it Grammarly, but I don't think their suggestions are limited to grammar. I'm sure there's also spelling and this sentence sucks, and too many semicolons or commas or whatever. I haven't really used it except that I did go to the website once and mess around. But, having been doing this for 35 years, I like to feel like I can edit pretty well myself. And Lara, as you very well know, when we do our seminars and whatnot, I'm trying to teach people to edit themselves. So anyway, that's just to say I don't know much about Grammarly, but they have bought this email client called Superhuman. That was several months ago. And now they're renaming themselves Superhuman and launching an AI assistant called Superhuman Go. That's built into the latest and greatest Grammarly. So the assistant can give you writing suggestions, tips, give you feedback on your writing, even email or something like that. You can connect it to other apps like Google Drive or Gmail or Google Calendar so that it can probably get more context and learn more about you. So eventually it not only helps you with your writing, it helps you organize or improve your writing life. I assume. I haven't done it like the one before, but that's what it sounds like to me. Lara, sound like anything you'd use? Let me guess.
Let me guess. Surprising no one? Probably not. You know that I am just always kind of a big chaotic mess, but still manage to get all my stuff done. So why mess with what works? I don't know that I want to try to be more organized, but I do think anything that could help someone else improve their writing can be a good thing. And as long as it's correct, I always will tell my students, if it's something that a tutor can help you with, you can use it on your writing. So you do the writing and then you can figure out how to fix it. And if it's used over and over again, I like to think that eventually the human's writing should progress and improve as well.
Jesse, I know on previous podcasts you've emphasized I am not a writer, although that doesn't really mean you could not write a sentence without assistance. But anyway,
that's true.
Do you see anything described here as ever being useful to you?
Well, yes. Here's the thing. I knew about Superhuman, the email client, beforehand, and while honestly I couldn't afford it, it itself was a very useful way of using whatever AI, whatever they want to call it, to help you sort of sort your email box to make sure you're seeing the important stuff first. I use like when Google, when I'm writing, most of the time I'm not writing my emails in Google. I'm using a third party thing, not important. But when I do write them in Google, and Google sometimes gives me like, hey, you could phrase the sentence this way. I'm like, okay, that actually does make sense. Right. Because
Interesting.
As we all know, we all write longer emails than people are going to read, right? That's one. And two, we're not necessarily the best conveyors of our own information that we're trying to, share. And so sometimes in that regard, something that is summarizing or reading your writing is useful. But like I haven't used Grammarly in years just because it was very like resource intensive on every computer I tried to use it on. But I'm not against this part of it. It's just, again, like, how is it used? Who is it stealing from, etc.
Yeah, good points. All right, Craft Corner. Well, Craft Corner this time is going to be kind of a homegrown affair. I've been spending a lot of time scheduling and tapping people to provide these segments for 2026. But for this episode, I thought I'd use the home team to talk about the craft issue uppermost in people's minds right now. What gifts can I give my writer friends or my writerly friends, which is not really a craft, but work with me here. I'm trying to do a really brilliant segue between two things that are not remotely alike. Okay, Lara, what gifts are you giving your writerly friends this year?
Is this just a surreptitious way you're hoping to find out what I'm giving you for Christmas? That's what I think is going on.
I thought I would find out what you wanted for Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. In truth, I do have a stack of some beautiful hardcovers with unique cover designs and sprayed edges, just absolutely some beautiful books that some people will be getting this year for Christmas.
Nice.
I absolutely think that gifting someone a WriterCon cruise would be an excellent amazing gift for a writer that you love and want to help support, helping them on their way. And then stocking stuffers, fantastic pens, beautiful little notebooks and folios. That's. I think my gifts are probably pretty boring, honestly.
Don't sound boring to me at all. Jesse, what about you? Hanukkah gifts. Listen, writer friends, writerly friends, bookish friends, whatever.
We've talked about this often on this podcast. The answer is coffee mugs. Literary themed coffee mugs.
We've talked about this often. Well,
we talked about the fact that we all have too many mugs.
This is true. We certainly
don't say mugs in front of Bill. I've traumatized him. I've got a mug problem.
Mugs.
I've got a mug for every day of the year.
Gift cards to nonprofit bookstores in the area.
Oh, yes.
Nice. What else did you do? Again, pens, notebooks, depending on how they write, what their writing style is. But, things to help make their writing experience just a little bit nicer.
Very nice. All right. Thank you. And next time we'll be back in the new year with a new slate of Craft Corner segments. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. What are you giving your writer friends? You left yourself out.
Oh, I never answer questions. I just make up stuff and throw it out at you guys. That's the easiest thing on earth. I don't know. What am I giving my fruit baskets or some? I mean, I'm giving you gifts, but not as a writer. I will say, as you know, if I reverse the computer, you'd know I not only love books, I love beautiful books. So some of you were talking about fairy loot and other sprayed edges. I think those are great. And other people are doing that now. When are we going to do one? Folio Society is, a lot of the books that are behind me right now, beautiful books. So I think that might be the best gift for.
I would love if we had a big box of your Superman Wars arcs that we could wrap up and send out to everyone. That would be the best gift.
Yes, that would be excellent. I don't know when those are going to come out, but I don't think they're going to make Christmas.
A little too soon, I think.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk to Janet Yeager. Janet Yeager, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
It's great to see a friendly and familiar face here, and you probably already know what my first question is going to be. If you could offer writers one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say first things first is don't give up. Don't and believe in yourself, and going ahead and having and avail yourself to opportunities that are around you, such as WriterCon and the WriterCon cruises, the WriterCon podcasts, and there is help around you. And so don't ever give up, and believe in yourself and believe in the story, because if you don't tell the story, who will? So I would strongly encourage people to go ahead and put the fingers to the keyboard and go ahead and settle in and tell the story that you know that absolutely matters.
Well, I love that answer, and I should point out to people listening that you were kind of before we started. You've got the trifecta of WriterCon because you've been to the conference several times. I know you've been to the cruise at least once. And you've been to the retreat too, so you've kind of done it all.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember what first brought you into the WriterCon universe? WriterCon verse, I should call it.
The WriterCon verse. I like the term WriterCon verse. I think it
harkens back to the red speaker. It's like a throwback.
Oh, yes,
and I was red speakers too. I would say, I believe I saw you at a conference, and I was intrigued with what you were offering. And then, of course, I bought your books on writing, and that taught me a tremendous amount. And once you start reading these things, and you live very close, and so it was an opportunity to go ahead and get to know you guys better and what you offer. And as I went on, then I went to WriterCon conference and learned a lot, and of course, getting more and more intrigued. And then Deary Hollow came up, and now, of course, you guys are doing it at Canebrake. But that was a wonderful, absolutely. I think that was one of the big changes for me that was kind of elevated me up as far as
small group direct
writing.
Feedback.
Yes. Yeah. And then, of course, I did the cruise last May and was hoping to do it, but a bridge tournament kind of intervened, and I'm going to the national tournament in St. Louis.
Oh, no, we can't compete with a bridge. Well, if you're in the nationals.
You really can't. So, but for next time.
I'm very impressed.
For next time.
You're going to the nationals in bridge. I played in a Scrabble tournament once, but I got creamed. So let's not talk about that.
I'm going to be playing against some pretty heavy hitters. So who knows? Who knows?
Right.
Well, tell us about that cruise experience.
Well, I'll tell you, it was one of those things. Okay, first off, it was Alaska, which
that was a good cruise.
It was so good.
What I found was amazing about it was, besides, of course, your instruction every day, and kind of holding my feet to the fire, which was a good thing because you were called upon. I mean, I kind of made half a joke about it. It was like I was in Alaska and they called on me. They actually do homework. But it was absolutely worth it. Yeah. But also the level and depth and breadth of the writers, my fellow writers, and people were doing science fiction, people were doing historical stuff. It was anything and everything. And so if you don't think, for people who are listening, for people who are questioning whether or not they should do it, I would absolutely encourage you, because you will find people who have similar interests. You will find people who, when you listen to the first chapter of their book, you go, oh, I want to read that. I never knew that I wanted to read this, but absolutely, this was amazing stuff. So, and the quality of the writing, the quality of the information. And although I thought I was a plotter, I was actually a pantser. However, I'm working on my new book, and I am using that handbook religiously. I'm actually filling it out and doing it. So, for those who are listening, It's absolutely well worth the investment. It's an investment in yourself and it's an investment in your writing. So do it. Absolutely do it.
And it's fun.
And it's fun.
We work hard and we play hard. Yes.
Forget to mention that it was fun. It was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Okay. Now, your first book was Brothers of Honor.
Brothers by Honor, yes.
Yeah. Where did that story come from?
That story came from, that was actually, if you can look behind me, you see that there's a photograph, and that is about my father and his 3 friends, and they were resistance fighters in Norway during World War II, and they were outed to the Nazis by a family member. And so as teenagers, they had to make some hard decisions, and one of them was to steal a rowboat and to go ahead and row across the North Atlantic, 250 miles in open water. And what could possibly go wrong with that scenario, right? So the story was about, I thought it was action adventure, but it really ended up being about people coming together under horrific and very stressful situation. And how do they resolve this? And how do they learn and they grow? So I loved writing that. That was near and dear to my heart. And I was so pleased with the response that I got. And it just kind of set me on my path.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And now you have a new novel, right? Two Birds, One Stone, which is kind of a high-tech thriller. Tell us about that.
Well, and it's about a woman leading a double life. And on the one hand, Joanne Corvus is a mild-mannered mineral manager. Don't say that 3 times too fast. And she is she works in a small town, a small ski town in northwestern Montana. Very kind of similar to where I grew up, actually, but and so that is one part of her life. The other part of her life is that she works as her name is Iris Blackrail, and she works for Bolton's Valor Security Forces as an encryption officer. So she is also in charge of making sure that money laundering is not happening and that there's not drones that are trying to breach the systems. And so it's about those two worlds colliding, and also about what happens when her English, her childhood English pen pal shows up, and all of a sudden things start going haywire. Their bodies and people disappear. There's money laundering. There's drones showing up where they shouldn't be. And so she's having to try to figure out if she can trust this person, if she has to rely only on herself, what are her options and what kinds of things, how can she truly, how can she truly trust people when she's been burned in the past? And so now she's trying to go ahead and overcome those things and solve some things that are not going well for her. So she's trying to fix that.
And this is set in Montana, right?
It is.
Which I think may be where you have roots, but of course now you're in Oklahoma, and
it's never far
good
from
people
my heart.
will do. What?
Well, and the accent probably, I think I've been told.
No insult to Montanans. I just want to say that's not what I meant. Okay. Why Montana though?
It's never far from my heart. It's never, yes, I have lived in Oklahoma for a very long time, but all the stories that tend to come from Montana and the things that I grew up with, or that there were stories that you hear when you're growing up or that you think you know about. And there's always this one unanswered question, and you start digging and you find out that the story that you think you know is not the story that actually happened. And so then you start digging. And that's one of the things that I love to do, is to find those things out. So that's something that I love to explore. I grew up on a mountain lake, and there were a lot of things that were a little different, and not always in a bad way, but also not always good. So I'm having fun kind of exploring that.
Sure.
Fascinating. You've also written a lot of short stories.
Yes.
some of which have won awards.
Yes.
So what do you prefer? What do you prefer writing? Novels, short stories?
Okay. I'm finding that I like to be backed into a box. If somebody tells me one of the stories that I wrote was for the Montana History Council, and the story is that you pick a photo, and they have thousands, and you have to write a story that's 650 words long. That's it. And so I did that. And then I went ahead and I did something for Emerge magazine, and I won the one for Montana History Portal, which I didn't hear anything. And then one day I get this big package, and it's like, "Congratulations, you won!" And I'm like, "Well, okay, great." And then but I really I like the challenge of trying to tell a story in a very short thing. But of course, I also love to go ahead and write and see where the story is. And that's kind of where the plotting and pantsing thing kind of comes in. I love the fact that I can use, for example, when you're in your handbook, the 60 card outline, and then have some fun and play with it and find out that sometimes characters emerge, storylines become more interesting because you've given yourself a framework. But anyway, I like both. But yeah, I've had some fun with the short stories too.
I'm impressed when someone can consistently and successfully knock out short stories. I feel like every time I've tried to write a short story, it turned into a whole novel. That just doesn't seem to be a skill that I am in possession of. So you've touched on this. You said you think maybe more of a pantser. You think you're transitioning to a plotter, planner? How do you think that?
Yes. Oh, and will you look at that big grin? Will you look at that big grin? The cruise, okay, I had gone, pardon me. The cruise, okay. One of the things I love about going to WriterCon in all its forms is that you do have us do an outline, and you break it down even farther than that. You say what one word describes this, what 10 words, write a sentence about this, and breaking it down and making you think very hard about what you're actually writing. And so to me, it's hard. That part is actually probably the most difficult part of it, because you have this idea, you know where it's going to go. But the fact that you have to structure it and then going ahead and taking the things makes it I'm becoming more of a plotter. And I don't really want to give up the ability to kind of riff a little bit on it. But having a roadmap is now becoming far more important. And especially with short stories, it goes and it feeds directly into short stories, because you have your back against the wall. Is it going to be 1,500 words, 2,000 words, 650 words? And having that background and having that framework is extremely helpful to me. So that has been one of the best takeaways of working with you guys.
I love it. Well, Bill's a great teacher.
Well, both of you are very good. Very, very good.
Well, she's naughty and I'm nice. So
well, you are wearing the right hat right now.
Well, it's because I'm an editor, right? I'm the mean one. I have to come in and do the mean editing at the end.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but also with a heart. I think that's also something that
I actually try very hard not to be mean about it. It's our books are our babies.
Yes.
So
yes.
What does a typical writing day look like for you? Do you have a process that you could share with us?
One of the things I do is that because I'm now starting to outline, and because I'm starting to have I always had a framework, because a lot of this story, I know the beginning, the middle, and the end. I do know that. So I go ahead and I'm able to go ahead and pick up and see where things take me within the framework. And so, like I said, I know that I'm going to write a couple thousand words, which actually doesn't take that long. Sometimes I will do like 25-minute sprints and take 5 minutes off and just kind of do something fun. And then I'll go back and do it again. And you'll find that by doing so, you write far more than you think you do. And sometimes there's this thread that comes in and you go, oh, that's a good line. I don't know where that came from.
Interesting.
Hello. And off we go.
Isn't that frustrating sometimes, though? Because I think it takes me about 25 minutes, if not more, just to get rolling every day. And then once I'm finally rolling and my fingers are moving, I don't want to stop.
Oh my God.
But you do, right?
Or I think that I can probably write for 4 hours, and after that, my brain is dead. I just don't have the temperament. I don't have the discipline to be able to do longer than that. I know that there are people who can write 8 and 10 hours a day, and I can't. I absolutely can't do that. But I would say 4 hours, and then I like to go ahead and see where it's going next, because I have an idea, but am I going to put the words in the way that I want them to be? And will I be able to go ahead and have them come close to what's in my head? Am I describing it in a way that, am I saying what I want to say? And then I start to edit it, which I need to stop doing that. Just do it. Just do it.
I heard someone once say to take that break when you still know what comes next, so that you take that break and you kind of, get a drink, refresh your tea, whatever. And when you come back to it, you've still been churning over it while you were taking your break, but you'll come back fresher and you still can hop in. So like you were saying, Bill, you can keep chugging forward, but you still get that break. And I'm thinking I need to try that. I think when I sit down and I tell myself, okay, I just need to edit, write, whatever for 4 hours straight, feels like a lot. But I think if I look it up, hold myself, just go for this length, get up, get some sort of reward for it, a piece of chocolate, some tea, whatever, and then go back to it. And then I maybe don't glaze over and start slowing down.
I also sometimes believe that when you are off doing something else, like for example, I go to the gym and I go to water classes, or I'll be doing a Zumba class, and I'll be listening to the music all right, but there'll be something that'll be like, and I go, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. Okay. And it's just, if you focus too much, sometimes it just kind of like the muse sort of shuts down a little bit. And then if you just kind of go, okay, talk to me, what's going on? And then something will come up and you go, oh, I like that. Okay.
And there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I love those goosebump moments where I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do.
All right. One more big question for you, Janet. What are you working on now, or what can we expect to see from you next?
Well, okay. So while I was on WriterCon in March or in May, the WriterCon cruise, I was working on something called erratic behavior. And that is 4 sets of DNA, 3 bodies, 2 houses, and a woman dealing with erratic behavior. And I've finished that. And then I've sent that off to my editor at Wild Rose Press. And I'm hoping that it will go ahead and she'll accept it and that it'll get published. And I get to go and meet with you friendly folks next year. Yay. But while I was finishing it, I went, oh, wait a minute. I know another story that's going to be a sequel. I didn't even know it was going to be a sequel, but it's going to be a sequel. And so because there was these characters, I had fleshed them out so well during using the handbook, that I got to know, I actually interviewed these characters and I followed this stuff, and darn if it doesn't work. You guys know what you're doing. It's great. So going ahead, and all of a sudden I realized, these characters could go ahead and they need to have an adventure. And I have an idea of what I'm going to do with that. And I don't have a tagline yet. I can just tell you that tentatively it's called Alphabet Row. And that's all I can say about it. right now.
Very
Well, I can't wait to read it, like everything else.
Yes.
Janet, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. And thank you guys
Great
for
to see you.
hosting me. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Say hi to Buster for me.
I will.
And the new cat. What was the new
Winifred.
Okay. All right.
My little Winnie.
Well, anyway, thank
Both
you so
of whom
much.
are right there saying, "Why did Dad close the door?"
I've
went
got one
in.
outside the door right now. I can hear her. So, but anyway,
right.
thank you guys,
Thank
and
you.
I hope you are going to have another WriterCon cruise next
We
year.
are. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Going to the Eastern Caribbean in March. Yeah.
Yes, and I can't do that because I'm
That's
going to
the
be
one she can't make.
I'm
Right.
going to be hunkered down over cards.
Oh, you mean
again.
after that? Yes.
Yeah,
Seems
after
likely.
Okay. All right. Well,
All
I
right. Thank you. See you
Okay.
soon.
Bye bye.
A few parting words. Well, the WriterCon cruise worked for Janet Yeager, right? You heard it from her own lips. Could it do the same for you? This time, we're going to be leaving from Fort Lauderdale for an 8-day cruise through the Eastern Caribbean,
Yes.
which is a new destination for us. So we're talking about beautiful water, tropical vistas, and
Hopefully
over 20
some white
hours.
sand beaches.
Yeah. And we're going on what's it called? Holland America, right? Because we went with them during the Alaskan cruise, and
And it was
I think you
wonderful.
and I both thought this was kind of a step up. So we're doing that again. Didn't you like Holland America?
I loved it. I thought it was just such a great experience. And it just felt a little more adult and a little classier, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not to down on anybody else, but I think for what we're doing, it's perfect.
Yeah, I think you're right. So anyway, that's what we're doing for the WriterCon cruise this year. Lara will be there. I'll be there. Betsy Kulikowski will be all teaching. Got Catherine Sands, one of the top literary agents out there, willing to meet with each and every person. She'll speak too, but I mean, we're all going to be available to you for 8 days. Where are we going to go? And I should mention that all of these classes I'm talking about will happen when the boat is at sea. When it's docked, we know you want to go out and go look at stuff and buy refrigerator magnets and stuff. So,
And pet a capybara.
Yes.
is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay. So, WriterCon Cruise, it's March 7th through the 15th. I hope you can join us. Visit the website, which is writercon.com, WRITERCON.com. All right? Until next time, keep writing. And remember, you cannot fail if you refuse to quit. All right? Have a happy holiday. See you next year.